Rough reception for Doug Ford outside his own fundraising event. We'll show you the fury outside Ford Fest as demonstrators in Kitchener protested the Ford government's Greenbelt development controversy.
They are serious. An aggravated assault charge is a serious thing, and it can and should result in jail time.
Plus, charged in the line of duty, a Toronto police officer is accused in a shooting on the job. Why the injured man's lawyer wants the body camera footage released.
I think the Canadian actors will, they'll be in the limelight.
And Canadian talent shines bright at TIFF. We'll take you to the red carpet for a couple of world premieres and explain why a well-known American actress backed out last minute. Chris Glover. This was not the kind of Friday night Doug Ford was looking forward to. Fresh off the heels of some pretty rough new polling data, Doug Ford's motorcade was swarmed by protesters this evening outside Ford Fest in Kitchener. The Premier's office confirming tonight Doug Ford himself was not in the vehicles met by the wall of protesters, but the demonstrators sure thought he was. Showing up at Kitchener's first edition of the Ford family's popular Ford Fest fundraising barbecue, many are angry over recent revelations into the government's Greenbelt land swap. Tonight's protest was organized by the Waterloo Regional Labour Council, and representatives of the three opposition parties were also there. The in-your-face frustration follows new polling that shows the ongoing controversy over Greenbelt development is eating into support for Doug Ford. Lorenda Redekop wraps it all together in Kitchener.
Doug Ford has brought Ford Fest on the road. He's in Kitchener trying to rally supporters at a time when another poll is out suggesting that his support is slipping. Ipsos Reid found that 28% of people support him as Premier. That's the lowest point it's been at since he became Premier the first time, even lower than when he was booed at the Raptors parade back in 2019. And it also shows that he's losing support among those who voted for him in the last election.
So when you're ticking off your own base, when you're annoying your own people, that's not a good sign. Ford's always been a fairly polarizing figure, so it doesn't surprise me when people on the left side of the political spectrum, past NDP voters, past Liberal voters, say they don't like the guy. But when you've got past Conservative voters saying, we're not very happy with him, that's a sit up and take notice moment.
At the entrance to this event, protesters were gathered, many of them holding signs about the Greenbelt, and all three opposition parties were also represented. Politicians spoke before this event was held, and just like that poll tells us, some of the people there had voted PC the last time.
Walking with a Conservative voter on the sidewalk, he said, I didn't vote for this. And I'm furious that I voted for this man. So we just met him on the street walking here from quite a distance to get parking. And so there's voters of all types here, of all walks, saying this is not what I want.
I also spoke to some Ford supporters about what they think about the Greenbelt issue.
So we need to build more homes. I mean, we have to outweigh the cost-benefit analysis. What is the environmental impact versus the need of the hour? Like you said, 800,000 people are calling Ontario their homes. Where are they going to get put up?
Another interesting finding from that poll is that among PC voters from the last election, more than half believe that certain developers did receive preferential treatment. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Kitchener.
A rookie Toronto police officer is suspended with pay tonight, charged in the shooting of a man holding a knife while walking his dog back in February. Greg Ross explains why the officer is being charged now and why the alleged victim's lawyer wants the officer's body camera footage released.
We see it as a real positive step forward in many ways.
David Shelnut is the lawyer representing Devon Fowlin. He says the charges against the officer who shot his client were a long time in coming. According to the SIU, Constable Andrew Davis has been charged with aggravated assault and discharge of a firearm with intent to maim, wound, disfigure, or endanger life.
They are serious. An aggravated assault charge is a serious thing, and it can and should result in jail time. We query whether attempted murder charge was considered.
On February 27th, Fowlin was walking his dog in the Black Creek Drive, Trethway Drive area. He was holding a knife at the time, and somebody called police.
We know that Mr. Fowlin was tasered twice and then ultimately shot.
It's not entirely clear what led up to Fowlin being tasered and shot. Back in March, he spoke to the media and gave his version of events.
They pointed their guns at me right away. They shouted one command, and immediately I felt a shot, and right after I just heard multiple shots going off.
Fowlin was experiencing homelessness at the time and was living in a car with his dog.
This was a situation that did not need lethal use of force brought to the table. We know that if people are seemingly in distress, that our police should approach them with compassion and understanding. They should be trained to de-escalate these situations.
According to Toronto Police, Constable Davis has been suspended with pay. They say he had just over a year of service at the time of the incident. In a statement to CBC News, a representative from the police union said, "This has been and will continue to be a difficult time for Constable Davis, his family, and his colleagues. As an association, it is our responsibility to ensure our member receives fair and thorough representation. Since the time of the incident, the TPA has provided support to the member." Shelnut is now asking police to release body camera footage from the officers involved that day.
We suspect that has played a critical role in the outcome here. In other cases, we've had a heck of a time getting body camera footage for our clients. It's really difficult.
Shelnut says they're not ruling out the possibility of further action against the Toronto Police and the officer that shot his client. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
A positive update tonight for residents of a West End apartment complex. They now have their power fully restored after a multi-day outage. We've been following the apartment blackout at the Crossways building at Dundas and Bloor ever since Wednesday. That's when a fire broke out in an electrical vault, sending the complex, consisting of two 29-story towers, into darkness with no AC on the tail end of a heat wave. Turns out the building actually experienced a similar outage back in May. So residents say they're even more frustrated now and want compensation. The property management company hasn't confirmed whether they'll pay people for the trouble. And you are looking live at Festival Street for TIFF's second night. In a moment, we'll take you back to the party and show you how Nickelback's big day went. The band Everybody Seems to Love to Hate premiered its documentary today and hosted a free concert. We'll also show you the Canadian star who walked the red carpet tonight and which American actress ditched out on the festival this year given the ongoing entertainment industry strikes. That is all ahead in a couple of minutes, but first, a much chillier feel out there tonight. Colette Kennedy is tracking the forecast for us. Colette, a nicer night to be out walking around now that all that muggy air is gonzo.
Yeah, it does sound like, from the things I've been hearing, this weather is more some people's speed. You know, just having things a bit more comfortable, being able to sleep with the windows open, and the cooler nights and mornings. But it is a big difference from where we've been. And some of the daytime highs today, you know, not even getting out of the teens. You could see some 17 and 18s on the board there. So certainly a fresher feel to that air mass. Quiet conditions overnight tonight. So essentially calm, the winds even backing off, but still that direction of north to northwest. By tomorrow afternoon, they'll turn more towards the southeast, and a bit of variable cloud, wet weather to the south of us. Into Sunday, you could have an isolated shower, but I really don't think there's much to it. I'll show you more on that extended forecast coming up. But tonight, it will be 13 degrees for your low. That's actually seasonal for this time of year. And the high tomorrow, really nice looking day, 23 degrees, Chris.
Yeah, that does look nice. All right. Thanks, Colette. Catching you up now on the city's ongoing response to the refugee crisis that was impossible to miss this summer. This week, the city announced $750,000 to help churches who have been housing asylum seekers that have no other places to go. But tonight, those churches warn that money is only to fill in cash if it doesn't come through from the federal government and may actually lead to a chilling effect on donations. Dale Manukduk explains.
We know that when we hear announcements like that, it's ambiguous. We don't know when that's going to really happen.
Nadine Miller is talking about the $750,000 the city pledged to churches like Pilgrim Feast Tabernacles, which is still housing 165 refugees and asylum seekers.
Really what City Council voted on, if the federal government does not come through for us on our budget, then they will then give us $750,000, not that we have $750,000 actually coming.
Miller says the announcement has an impact on donations, which are still desperately needed.
Because what it does is people say, well, I don't have to give you anymore. If I was going to give you a $5,000 check, it's not going to come anymore. If I'm going to give you $5, well, why would I give you $5 when you have $750 coming?
The churches have received $50,000 each that the mayor promised, but it's already been spent covering costs incurred over the last few weeks. The federal government has been moving refugee claimants from Toronto churches to Cornwall, more than 400 kilometers away. In a statement, IRCC says in part, due to the lack of space in their housing networks at Toronto's request, the Government of Canada will provide temporary accommodations for those in need of immediate assistance. Dominion Church says 26 refugees were picked up today. However, there's still over 120 sleeping in the sanctuary space and over 70 staying on chairs in the banquet area. And more come every day. The church says sometimes sent by the city. The mayor's office says over 4,600 refugees are being supported in shelters and outside the system. It also confirms that if refugees call Toronto Shelter Central Intake, they are streamed into a refugee program.
The mayor is saying that this should not be happening, but city staff are blatantly disobeying. So I have questions around that and who is accountable. I also think that this practice of separating refugees and denying them shelters based on their status is xenophobic and racist, and it's just not appropriate. It's not acceptable.
Mayor Chow says she's since spoken to city staff who will ensure refugees can access available emergency shelter space. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, let's get right to Anam Khan now standing by live at TIFF. Anam, lots happened today with Nickelback's free concert and big documentary debuting. But a lot of people are talking about the star of a Canadian indie movie who didn't walk the red carpet tonight for the world premiere of Seven Veils. Amanda Seyfried backed out of the festival last minute. How are people reacting to that tonight?
Yeah, Chris, people were pretty bummed out about Seyfried not being able to come. She had actually signed a waiver to come here and promote the film because it is a Canadian film, but then she backed out last minute. She felt bad to not be standing in solidarity with people of the strikes. But you know what? That's too bad, but there's still a lot of excitement for the festival. There was a lot of excitement for Nickelback, a band that people just love to hate.
Even for people in Toronto's downtown who didn't get to see Nickelback's concert tonight, it was impossible not to hear it. The free concert drew thousands of fans from across the province.
We just saw them like August 16th, and we traveled to Buffalo for it. And we literally live like 45 minutes from here, and it's for free, so even better.
Earlier today, fans at TIFF attended the premiere of their documentary called Hate to Love, about the band so many people seem to beat up on. A phenomenon fans tonight wore with a badge of honor.
I got bullied almost every single day in high school because I actually had my hair long like Chad Kruger, and kids would say all kinds of mean things, and I actually lived right across the street from my high school, so I couldn't even walk across the street without getting bullied.
The documentary tells the band side of the story.
It makes you feel bad, like they didn't deserve that, but also like they're super famous, like they're still doing fine.
The band was inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame at the Juno Awards this year, and fans say their music and their story deserves to be recognized.
It's just like it can always get you going no matter what mood you're in.
Nickelback wasn't the only Canadian talent celebrated today. There was a world premiere for Seven Veils by Canadian director Adam Egoyan. The film's lead, Amanda Seyfried, got an exemption to promote the Canadian film on tonight's red carpet, but backed out last minute, citing the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. But her co-star said she was excited to be at TIFF.
Can you tell me a little bit of what the movie's about?
Well, so basically, Amanda, she's doing an opera, and she thinks a lot to her past, and yeah.
And then that's when you come in.
Canadian star Elliot Page walked the red carpet today, celebrating the world premiere of his new film Backspot that he executive produced. Many TIFF goers picking up on the fact that even though the festival is generally more scaled back this year, it's making space for Canadian stars to shine.
I think the Canadian actors will, they'll be in the limelight.
So Elliot Page isn't done yet. His movie Close to You will be premiering tomorrow. And hey, if you haven't watched any of these movies, not to worry, there's plenty of screenings throughout the week.
Anam Khan reporting live for us there at the festival. Have fun tonight, Anam. Hey, welcome back. Returning now with more TIFF coverage. And a big part of this year's festival is an opportunity for local racialized filmmakers to get in front of industry heavyweights and pitch their own ideas. Now in its 14th year, the Big Pitch event aims to showcase homegrown, diverse talent to help build bridges in an industry that is hard to navigate without connections. Farah Morelli caught up with some of those participants.
So Big Pitch actually happens here at Luma. And right over here, we have the stage, we have the podium, everything set up. The jury will be right here in front. I know it's empty now, but it's gonna be packed. Hi, this is Diana Webley from Caribbean Tales International Film Festival. I am the festival director.
Tell us a little bit about the Big Pitch and what it's all about.
We have participants, emerging filmmakers, and some established that go through a process where it's like an incubator. They get the mentorship, they get the training, and all leading up to the Big Pitch Day, where they pitch their stories that need support. They only get 3 minutes. So it's not a lot of time to get how much funding they're looking for, who their target audience is, who this film is made for, what the genre is, and it's a lot to pack into that 3 minutes.
My name is Cara Martin. I am a multidisciplinary artist, actress, singer, writer, director. I think for myself and with my project, I just want people to see who I am, know who I am, and really get a sense of, you know, what my project is about. It's called Scarborough's Love, and so I want people to leave with, okay, there's an urgency to capture Scarborough and in all of its beauty, because it's being torn down right now, from Malvern Mall to the Scarborough RT, and it's never really been captured narratively in this way that I'm pitching forward. It's loosely based off of my parents' love story. So they immigrated here from Trinidad and Jamaica at the age of 3, met in Scarborough, fell in love when my dad crashed my mom's house party, and they've been married for 30 years. It is the story of what's really important is like showcasing Scarborough, showcasing love, showcasing Black love, showcasing positive love.
3 minutes, pretty short.
Yes, it is.
How are you feeling about really just making sure you get everything in there and you know, doing the best job you can?
I think 3 minutes is short, but it's achievable. We've been practicing. Hi, my name is Celestina Aliabua. I am an actor, director, filmmaker based in Toronto. Jaded is a comedic series. It follows 2 girls who are first-generation Nigerians based in North America, and they're really at the point in their lives where they're not really happy with where they've ended up, so they're trying to redesign their lives. I feel like stories like Jaded are extremely important because of representation. Canada has so many immigrants. We are a melting pot of so many cultures, but we rarely see these different cultures televised on screen. To win the Big Pitch would mean a lot. Filmmaking is, a lot of people say like you're kind of crazy to go into this industry. It's really difficult to make short films, feature films, any kind of film. So to win a pitch like this and have maybe some funding or equipment sponsorship, it really means a lot for the stories that we're going to tell.
Final word tonight to you, Colette, with our weekend weather forecast and a lot less humidity, at least for us, this weekend.
Yes, the steamy tropical weather may have kind of left us for now, but want to look at what's happening in the tropics. And of course, there is the tropical storm Margot, but we really have to focus in on Hurricane Lee. And it's not for Canadian interests so much what's happening this weekend. This is down the road towards next weekend. We want to see all these spaghetti plots as it's going to turn this towards the eastern seaboard, where they will be seeing high surf and rip currents, dangerous, and through the northern Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, Bermuda, all these areas. But is it going to eventually be coming up towards Atlantic Canada? And that's why we're really following this so carefully. Then, just looking at our forecast, when I say variable skies, at times, you get all kinds of sunshine. And then, especially with the influence of the lakes, we get some clouds that kind of build in. And we have a spotty shower possibility there along the north shore of Lake Erie. And you see how that expands in terms of the area, but there's so little to this, may not even make it to the ground, kind of drying up in the atmosphere. But no, that's there with a bit of that mix of sun and cloud, and into Sunday too. A few spotty showers, that potential there once again. For Toronto, it's more likely it would be to the west, southwest, or to the north. All right, these overnight temperatures, look at some of these sleeping conditions, and the overnight readings dipping again to some single digits. We've seen these already this season, but still 9 for Ottawa for the overnight low, 10 Peterborough. Toronto, we should be around 13, and I'd say 12, maybe 13 for the Windsor area as well. So look at how nice the weekend is looking, though. 23 for Saturday, 23 again on Sunday. Monday, you can see it. And then our next chance, Chris, a better chance for seeing more significant showers or even rain activity comes kind of midweek next week, and then it moves out again towards the end of the week.
But a nice little pattern developing there over the next couple of days. Thanks so much, Colette. Have a great weekend. And that's our show for you tonight. I hope you have a great weekend as well. Talia Ricci has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and then I'll be back with you again on Monday night at 11. We'll leave you now with more of Nickelback and their big free concert on the second night of TIFF. Have a great weekend, everyone.